last 2 months, and I'll be following Mark as director of the Engler program, and we're excited to have the opportunity to share the really great potential of this program with all of you, and more importantly, to share our enthusiasm about the University of Nebraska with each of you. This is your university, always has been, always will be, and we'd love to have you as part of our community.
So I'm going to start, and I'm going to go over a little bit of the history of the Engler program. And if anybody has a question, you know, while we're talking, feel free to raise your hands and draw our attention to you, and we'll be happy to entertain questions whenever you want. We'd like this to be a discussion as much as possible. But anyway, the Engler program was started, well, first of all, why don't everybody go to, you all have computers, right? Access?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay, there is a website that kind of has the Engler information on it, and it's http://Kasner, CASNR.UNL.edu/Engler, which is ENGLER, and everything's lowercase. So I'm just, you know, get that out because we may be referring to it in a bit. So the Engler program was started about 2 years ago, a little less, by a gift from a gentleman, Paul Engler, who's a Texas cattleman who was raised in kind of northeast Nebraska around Stewart, Bassett. Came down to the University of Nebraska, got a degree here, went off and had a number of jobs pretty much tied to the cattle industry, and then ultimately in about 1960 started a company in Amarillo, Texas that's now the largest private cattle company in the cattle feeding company in the world. And he felt that the education and opportunities that he gained at the University of Nebraska were so important to him that he donated $20 million to start this Engler Agribusiness Entrepreneurship Program. And he did it in part because he really not only valued his university experience, but he valued growing up in a small town, relatively small town in Nebraska, and the opportunities and the background that gave him. And he wanted to give back not only to the university, but to rural Nebraska, rural communities, rural students that may want to start a business of their own and may want to go back to rural Nebraska. So that's kind of the history of the program. We've gone through 2 years of classes now. We got a class up and running shortly after the program was started, and then we started a new class this last fall. We have about 55 students in 2 years of the program that are studying agribusiness entrepreneurship at the university. So at this time, I guess Tom will talk a little bit about the program itself.
Well, I think one of the things that's really important for our approach that's different perhaps than some of the other programs that you might be looking at around the country is that we believe that there's a real important component to entrepreneurship that begins with a strong technical competence in a particular focus area. So whether it's animal science, plant pathology, agronomy, horticulture, engineering, whatever that competency is that then entrepreneurship is a great umbrella around that capacity. And so in the College of Agriculture and Natural Resources at UNL, our vision is to create entrepreneurship as an integrative and systemic approach as opposed to a standalone program. So we work with lots of different departments and a lot of different folks, and we define entrepreneurship in a very broad way. So even if you're not thinking, gee, I want to be the next Steve Jobs of the planet, there's very likely an opportunity for us to discuss how entrepreneurship might fit into each of your particular careers. I'd like each of the students to consider a couple of things. Each of you today is a company, and you can make that company whatever you want it to be. And so whether you're a sophomore, or junior, senior in high school, you are you Inc., if you will. And so for your company to be successful, you need to figure out what your strengths are, and that's one of the things that we work hard on here on the front end, is to help students identify their strengths and to create brand equity around those strengths. From that strength awareness and from that awareness of your own potential as a company, we then want to go through the process of creative thinking to help you begin to become a possibility thinker. And that really means thinking outside the box, and it means laying aside a lot of assumptions and a lot of thoughts that you might have today and getting you to think outside the realm of those. And that's why in our program we encourage international study. That's why we encourage lots of internships, lots of networking, and lots of opportunities to interact with successful entrepreneurs, both those who are in the startup phase, those who are in what we call the Death Valley phase, from about year 2 to about year 5, when now, in year 1 and 2, enthusiasm alone will carry you a long way. From year 2 to about year 5, that's when there's lots of looking in the mirror days where you say, what was I thinking when I started this venture, and do I have what it takes to see it through, and facing those growing pains. And then we also want to expose you then to those entrepreneurs who have made it through what we call Death Valley and are out into a pretty sustained level of success, because it's important for you to be exposed to all 3 of those. We're looking for people who are naturally curious, who want to be lifelong learners, because there are no simple answers to entrepreneurship. We are looking for people who have tenacity, who are, our founder, Paul Engler, calls it fire in the belly. He wants people who absolutely have a level of enthusiasm and commitment and courage to build businesses and to employ other people. We think it's really important that our students have a level of autonomy and independence, because they're going to have to be able to be self-starters and to be self-reliant. They have to be able to work in teams, function in networks, and at the end of the day, as Tom Peters, the management consultant, says, it comes down to, are you tough enough? And so we're looking for folks who have faced some adversity and overcome those things to come to our program. Some of the things that we can brag about today is we've got students who are participating in national level business plan competitions, regional and statewide quick pitch competitions, which are opportunities to make a presentation about a business idea you have in front of folks who might actually have control of the purse strings, people we refer to as either bankers or venture capitalists. And we've had students winning those competitions and being really, really successful. So we're excited about the fact our students are successful here and finding a lot of opportunity to take what they're learning in our program and put it to work in the real world. If you are interested in learning more about our program face-to-face, we participate in the Big Red Summer Camp program. And our camp runs in June, June 10th through the 15th. And we would encourage you to take a look at this. We do have scholarships on this program, but this would be a great opportunity for you to come to campus and spend some time with us, actually immersing yourself in a university level entrepreneurship experience for 5 days. For more information about that, I'm going to give you my email so that you can contact me directly, and I'll forward information to you. It's tfield2 tfield2@unl.edu. So we'd really encourage you to participate in that particular program. I'm going to let Mark now give you a little background on how our scholarship program works and give you some information about the Engler Scholarship.
Okay, great. If you got to the website, you should find down under the navigation piece something titled scholarships, and one of the important important components of the Engler program is a scholarship that is an excellent scholarship. If you're selected to receive it, it'll almost pay for your entire college education. It's renewable for 3 years. It's up to $10,000 per year, and it's based on there's a two-part process in the application. One is a written process where you fill out a questionnaire. There are 3 questions on it, and basically what we're looking for is someone that has that, as Paul Engler says, fire in their belly to be entrepreneurs. Experience showing that you indeed do want to be an entrepreneur is important. So if you've been active in FFA and in the SAE projects, or if you've been active in 4-H, those things will serve you well. If you have started and own your own business already, that's also a really good indicator. Basically, the application is not based on scholarship. It's not those that have the highest GPA that will get it necessarily. You have to be able to maintain a decent grade within the university, but the most important piece of it is the fact that you really have this desire to be your own boss and own your own business. So you can look through that, the scholarship application on that website, and there's a link there that allows you to access the application itself and fill it out. And you know, the process for the coming year is basically ended, but you know, that'll be available for you to look at and to think about and get ready for next year.
I just want to share a couple ideas with the students in terms of thinking down the road. One of the biggest challenges that I think confronts people is the notion that we create in our own minds some sort of limit, that we are bounded to some smaller space than maybe what our intellect and our spirit and our capacity really would allow for. And so I would encourage each of the students, particularly those of you who are thinking that entrepreneurism and business and the opportunity to start your own company, to take that great leap of faith and risk, that you give serious consideration to beginning that process right now and starting to learn and think through the right paths. In my previous job before I came to the University of Nebraska, I traveled the United States and I visited campuses all over the country. And I can tell you that the University of Nebraska-Lincoln is a gem in the country in terms of its ability to provide great educational experiences for students. And so as you're evaluating your educational opportunities, don't look past your home institution. The University of Nebraska is a very unique, very powerful force in the world today, and there's a huge vision here and opportunities to see and impact the world in ways that perhaps you're sitting there thinking, I don't know that I'll ever impact the world. Remember, Paul Engler sat in a room smaller than the one you're in with far less technology and quite frankly from a very, very humble background and created one of the largest agricultural companies in the world. So I want to share a quick quote with you, and then maybe we'll have time to take some question and answer. And while I'm not a user of her products, Mary Kay Ash has built a pretty amazing company. And I think she's got a tremendous tremendous view about what it takes to be successful. When you reach an obstacle, she says, turn it into an opportunity. You have the choice. You can overcome and be a winner, or you can allow it, the obstacle, to overcome you and become a loser. The choice is yours and yours alone. Refuse to throw in the towel. Go the extra mile that failures refuse to travel. It is far better to be exhausted from success than to be rested from failure. And I can promise you, we will challenge you if you come to UNL. We will support you. We will put a huge network of entrepreneurs and creative thinkers around you. And we would love to have you come to campus, take a look at the programs here. We'd be happy to share the resources, the institution with you, and we'd really look forward to being part of your future. That said, if there are questions from either the faculty there or students, we'd love to answer those.
But I would just like to add a little bit from my perspective. Both Tom and I are from small rural towns, and I graduated many years ago in a class of 15, and then came to the University of Nebraska. And I know a lot of students from small towns want a smaller. They'll go to a smaller school thinking that they'll fit better. But the East Campus, where the College of Agricultural Sciences and Natural Resources is a small college, and coming down here is not a big major step out of a comfort zone. It's actually a great place to transition, where you can come and have a kind of a small college experience, but yet you're a part of a much bigger one if that's kind of what you want to do as well. So it's a really neat experience, and Tom is right on relative to the kind of support that you get and the friendliness that you find on this campus. So don't rule it out just because it's in a large town and a large on a large campus. So with that, yeah, we would love to entertain any questions or comments.
Looking at your website, you have listed the 2011 class, 2010 class. Can you, in particular, talk about any of your, if you don't want to mention any names, like students that have come from small schools and where they've gone on? What are they doing with either their minor or major focus on entrepreneurship? What have they done?
Well, the program is only 2 years old, so we don't have any that have graduated and moved on. But most of our students are from, I would say, relatively small communities. We have students from Bassett, Valentine, David City, Ainsworth. We don't have very many from the Panhandle, which we're going to try to address, but otherwise they're scattered across the entire state, and the vast majority are from smaller, mid-sized communities. We have some from Lincoln, we have some from the Omaha area as well, but the majority of them are from smaller, rural kind of communities. Our students have been, even though the program is only 2 years old, we have an excellent professor that teaches our entrepreneurship classes. He also owns his own business, a horticulture business here in Lincoln, and so he comes from a background that understands the issues about being an entrepreneur, but he is an excellent teacher, which is evidenced by, as Tom referred to, some success in some competitions. We had a Nebraska quick pitch competition, which is, you probably know what a quick pitch is, but 3 out of the 4 top winners were out of this program. We just, last fall, there was kind of a university wide, so all the entire campus at UNL competition for a business plan writing, and the top 2 winners were out of our program. And just last night was an international, University of Nebraska holds the oldest international business plan competition in the world. was told. And the second place, there were teams from Chicago, Houston, Georgia, and then we had one of our students. They were all teams, and we had our one student, and she placed second in this international competition. So you will get a really good education in this program. So we have students whose goals are to go back to their rural community and start a restaurant, or we have a lot of students that want to go back and add a value-added enterprise to an existing family farming operation or ranching operation. But we also have one student who has so many ideas. She tells us she needs to start her own town. So we've got big thinkers to, people who just want to create an ability to do what they want to do where they want to do it. So it's a very rich environment that anyone, you will fit into this. The other thing that we've done is started a club around the Engler agribusiness program, so that the kids can come together, network, talk to each other, hopefully down the road with Tom's leadership form teams that will be able to pursue things that maybe an individual would find difficult around big ideas. So it's a cool opportunity. I wish it had existed when I was a student.
Any other questions? I've been in some meetings with Dr. Waller, and he does an excellent job of recruiting students, and he says often that a student on East Campus in Kasner having a C average or above is guaranteed a job. And just how you guys take care of the students on your campus and creating that culture of a small town atmosphere, and just really impressive. And as our students are here looking at the list of students, I'm sure they know several of your students from Sumner, Amherst, perhaps Ravenna. So we appreciate your time this morning. Any other questions? Well, hopefully we can recruit some students to go to the summer camp. And you said there's scholarships available?
There's scholarship available for the summer camps as well as the major scholarships. That cut that cost to less than half of what everybody in the other camps will be paying. So everybody that comes to our camp gets a scholarship.
Sounds excellent. Also, I noticed, and I'm not back on that website now, but there is called Nebraska Academy that encourages high schools to line up their classes with your program. Is that, or am I saying that right? Or did I get off on a tangent here? We have the Nebraska Scholars Program, or the Advanced Scholars Program. Is this something different? Are there classes that high school students could take?
Could you repeat that?
Well,
Nebraska Academy.
The Nebraska Academy, and maybe that's an old link, Nebraska Academy, and it looked like there were classes that a high school student could take for college credit and kind of be prepared for being on the East Campus. And maybe I'm wrong. I'm not back on that site.
There are I'm not exactly sure how how they describe it. I've not been on that website for quite some time, but there certainly is an opportunity to take university level classes that through while you're in high school that are then credited, where you earn your college credit through that.
Very good. I think Gibbon would leave us here, but any other questions? I'm doing all the questioning.
You'll make our day if one of you asks just one question.
Mickey asks, what do you have to do to apply for the scholarship and the camp?
Well, we can send you a brochure or a link to how you would apply for the camp this summer, and the scholarship is just automatically given. The Engler program, one of the pieces of the program that Paul Engler wanted to see was an entrepreneurship camp, and part of that is to provide scholarships for students to attend. So that if there's not a website where you can find that, we'll get that information to you.
Yeah, if you go to bigredcamps.unl.edu, and Big Red Camps, all one word, so bigredcamps.unl.edu, and that's where you'll register for Big Red Camps, and you've got choices. Ours is the entrepreneurship portion, and then we'll coordinate with those applicants on the reduced tuition for that camp once we get the applications.
Very good.
The other cool thing about the Big Red Camp is that existing English students play a big role in that, and so you kind of get to know some of the people that if you decide to come to Kasner, and you know, that you will be interacting with and participating in, you know, the club and other activities with. So
very good. I think Gavin Kenny is coming to our school next Tuesday to talk to our juniors about some opportunities on the UNL campus, but maybe I'll just include these guys, and maybe he could talk about the summer camp as well.
that'd be great.
All right, well, thank you, and we have your emails here, so I will summarize all this and remind everybody and Gibbon students as well, about the summer camps, and hopefully we'll get some students on the UNL campus.
That'd be great.
Yeah, thank you very much for letting us visit with you.
Well, thank you for your time this morning. This is a great connection, and we need to do more of these.
Absolutely.
All right, well, have a good day, and thank you for your time.
Have a great day. It's too bad we can't all be outside, huh?
That's right, that's right. Well, thanks.
Yeah, thank you.
You ought to do this camp. I mean, when it's all paid for, it's $450 or whatever it was, $500. Do it. And then remind you, there's this Nebraska Leadership Camp.
So like what, they pay half of that to go to that, or what?
They'll pay it all.
They pay it all?
And then Nebraska Leadership Camp, Dalton Hamlet this last summer. We can send one person to that. That's all paid for.
What is it?
It's just a business camp, and motivational people come in. Dalton had a great time. I think that was at Delta last year. And then there's a Hugh O'Brien business camp in the summer. That's paid for. So you got fun things, and that looks great on scholarships.
I thought you said that they paid for half.
Maybe they do pay half. I've got a little money to pay the other half if you need to. So, let's look into this. Talk it over with your parents. 3 opportunities, if not more. There's those other camps on that site. I'll put this all on Edmodo if you didn't get there. Let's look at that. Nebraska. Let's see. And Brian Bosshammer may have some money for you too. I don't know what he's got going.